I'm here with Jasmine Jasudavicius fighting June 10th in Vancouver, UFC 289, the return to Canada, first time since 2019, going back to where they were last at the Rogers Arena in Vancouver. Jasmine, first up, you called for this. UFC Vegas 70, your last fight, you go out, get the win, you call for the UFC to come back to Canada. Were you surprised at how much traction that got?
Yeah, I actually was surprised. I was calling for it, Mike was calling for it before the fight. We didn't talk about it or anything. And yeah, we both just like called for it and then it just kind of started happening. I didn't really think that it was gonna happen because you don't actually think anything like that. But yeah, I'm super excited, and I think it's gonna grow MMA within Canada.
Like you said, you go out, you make the call for Canada. Mike makes the call for Canada. You get it. It's a done deal. It took a little while. They were kind of bouncing around possible locations, but has it kind of sunk in that you are, at least in part, the reason the UFC is returning to Canada?
I never really thought about it, but I guess so. I guess that's true. I no, that's an honor. I'm happy about that for sure.
Well, it's definitely very cool. And I know you fought in front of fans before, obviously prior to the UFC, and then UFC 270, you did have fans for that fight. But the idea of fighting at home with the Canadian fans in an arena here, just kind of what's that feeling like going into this?
I'm super excited. Like there's nothing like fighting in front of fans, and let alone in my home country. Like the fans are all gonna be cheering for me. It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait.
Does that add something to the fight for you as a fighter, or do you kind of tune that out when you're in the moment?
No, it definitely adds something, but I feel like the crowd like charges me. I can't wait. Some people don't like a crowd, but I feed off a crowd. I love a crowd.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be out in Vancouver for this one. And, Miranda Maverick went ahead and called you out after the fight. It was pretty respectful. You replied, let's do it. And it got made. Were you surprised with how quickly this all got put together?
Yeah, I was actually super surprised after the fight. It was like I told my coaches, give me 3 days. I don't want to think about fighting for a couple days. You guys talk about it and let me know in a couple days. And then so after the 3 days, they're like chomping at the bit. They're like, yeah, let's go for it. Let's try to get this fight. And I like threw it out there thinking like I don't think they're actually gonna make the match or anything. But that yeah, they made it. We both signed the contract. We're both down to scrap, and it's gonna be a good one.
Well, we know she's got some decent wrestling. She wrestled with the men's team for a while there at university. But what are you expecting to see from her in this fight? How do you see this playing out?
Obviously she's talented everywhere. But I see it playing out with me getting my hand raised.
Definitely. Now, the other factor here, she is currently ranked number 15. Is that a motivating factor for you as well? Because you may actually get to break in and maybe grab that number 15 spot with a win.
Yeah, exactly. That's a huge motivating factor. Like I said it at the very start when I first got in here, I'm here for a good time. I'm not here for a long time. And that's I want to hit it hard and go quick. And for me to be able to break top 15 like this year it's fantastic for me.
When you first came in, like you said, here for a good time, not for a long time. In your mind, is this quicker than what you kind of envisioned?
I mean, I didn't really put thought into it that much, but yeah, it's coming quick.
Now, the funny thing about this fight being in Vancouver is actually the travel. You and I actually are basically in the same region. I went to the London card and the Paris card last year. The flight to London was about 6 hours. My flight to Vancouver is going to be about 5 hours. There's not much difference. Are you going out early at all to just adjust? I know it's only a 3 hour time difference technically, but are you going out there early or what's the plan?
Yeah, we're going out there Saturday. I always like to go out to fight week early, just like get there, get comfortable, get used to everything, and just be with the team.
Good stuff. And I imagine you've probably been to BC before, or is this the first time?
No, I've been to BC. I actually lived in Victoria for like a year and Vancouver for like a couple months. I didn't I went ended up going back home, but yeah, I know Vancouver like very pretty well. I know the that whole side of the country decent, and it's so beautiful there, so I can't wait.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's an awesome place for the card. I was pretty happy. I mean, I would have been happy with any Canadian destination, but Vancouver was an easy sell for me, certainly. Now, you of course are going to have Mike with you, Mike Malott, teammate, who also called for this card. What's it like going to war with a friend like that?
It's awesome. Mikey is amazing. He's so talented. He's just an awesome guy to have around. And it's nice being able to like have fight camp with him and then have fight week with him. And like all of our coaches they're all like great together. And it's nice to be there with Mike and do this whole journey with him.
Well, glad that you get the opportunity. You got the fight together on the last card, getting the fight together on this card. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I think you signed a new contract ahead of this one.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that like another four fight deal? I won't ask you for specifics, but is it like another four fight deal?
Yeah, another four fight. So that's sweet. Big milestone for me.
That is fantastic to hear. And, I'm going to ask you a couple left field questions, but right out of the gate this week, there were a bunch of announcements, one of which was UFC 291, Gagey versus Poirier 2. And it's going to be for the BMF title again. That's coming back. I don't know. Jorge never lost it. I don't know how this works, but uh, if there was a women's BMF title, who fights for it?
Ooh, I don't know. That's tough. I would say, oh, probably, I don't know. It, that's a tough one. I hopefully me.
I was gonna say your first answer should be you. I was gonna throw out. I mean, they've already fought and it's in the past, but Joanna and Whaley probably deserved it for that fight. That was wild.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, if you could name the fight afterwards, yeah, that'd be a good one.
My other question is, so you go into Vancouver, you beat Miranda Maverick, everything goes according to plan. Are you calling for something else next? Are you saying, "Hey, UFC, come to Toronto next"? Because it's worked so far.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, I would definitely love for it to be in Toronto. But I'm so zoned in on this fight, so I don't even know what I'm gonna say. I feel like after the fight, you go crazy anyway, so I don't even know what I'm talking about after the fight. But yeah, ideally to be able to fight in Toronto would be absolutely amazing for me.
Well, hopefully it happens. Of course, the UFC used to come to Canada three times a year. We're just kind of getting back out of COVID now. Hopefully they get back to schedule. But you mentioned there you kind of don't know what you're talking about post fight because you're caught up in the moment. When you go into fights, then do you not have any idea of who you're going to call out, or do you do a little pre-scouting and have a name in mind?
I mean, there's been fights in the past that I've done some like pre-scouting. I had a name in mind, but for this one, I'm just getting in there and doing my thing.
Well, it's going to be awesome. Looking forward to seeing you in Vancouver. All goes well. I don't know how the media day is going to work. They haven't given us the schedule yet. Sometimes they do all the fighters for pay-per-view. Sometimes it's the main card and maybe the featured prelim, but we'll see. And then backstage after a win. Last one before I let you go, though. You go out to Vancouver. How does this fight play out for you? What's your prediction?
This fight plays out with me getting my hand raised at the end of it.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Jasmine, best of luck in the fight. Best of luck to Mike in his fight. And thanks very much for bringing the UFC back to Canada.
No, thank you. I'm looking forward to all those Canadian fans.
Absolutely. Have a great day. Best of luck.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers.